FUTV. I'm Adam. Welcome along to the show, everybody, where we're diving into everything Sunday morning papers. You know what the Sunday morning papers are like. You know, they're rife with everything going on about every single club. For some reason, it just seems to be written differently on a Sunday. Everyone has a bit more time. And yeah, it is a bit old school, an actual physical newspaper, not just something read online or on Twitter. We're doing it old school here on FUTV. Welcome to the new set as well, guys. Something a little bit different for you to get, well, to give your opinion on anyway. Let me know what you think in the comment section, by the way, about the new setup. This is something I just wanted to put together, something that we could possibly make a different show out of. So yeah, I think looking ahead, we're going to just mix up all of shows, like the outside stuff, the other studio stuff, and then things like this. Just a little bit of a more of a low-key general chat about everything going on in the world of football. Obviously, mainly United, first of all, and everything that's going on with us. Because let's be honest, we are the main headlines, always, when it comes to the papers. We're keeping the media in jobs, let's just say that. I think Manchester United, without us, there would be nothing to write about. I've got my papers in front of me. I've got a couple of headlines I want to talk about. First off, Marcus Rashford, PSG. Ten Hag has also been talking about financial fair play, wrecking the season and his improvement, which he was hoping for this season after what was such a good season last time out. I don't agree with him. I do think he's making excuses again there. There's no need to really bring it up right now. I think he's done it simply because he can. He's done it because he's in a decent run of form right now with his team. I think that's what's bringing it all on. And I think he can feel like he can get away with it a little bit in terms of what he can actually say. But yeah, I'm Ten Hag with the financial fair play. We're getting that in a minute. But I've not had a chance to talk about the Rashford situation yet with PSG. I mean, Rashford with PSG. I mean, you look at it and you go, well, yeah, you see the links. You understand why the links are there. And you only have to look through the paper straight away. I mean, there should be all sorts of headlines going on regarding the games yesterday, City dropping points. We will touch on that as well, obviously. We do like to touch on a bit of salty Haaland and everything that's going on at City. But more to the point, I mean, I think Rashford right now and the situation with PSG. We knew in 2022 that Rashford was negotiating with PSG. He decided to sign his new contract at United, but obviously after he committed to United, he then had that lucrative season, which was his 30 goals in the season, and everything was looking rosy for Rashford. The contract came in, the debate regarding how much it was for. I think that was one that really sort of split the fan base again. People saying he deserved it after 30 goals in a season. Some people said it was a bit too much too soon. I was in the bracket of, no, it's too much. Welcome to the members club, Kevin. Welcome, and you absolute legend, automatically promoted to legendary status. If you do want to be a member, guys, you know the protocol. Drop in the description. The link is right there. Thank you, Kevin, for that, and welcome to the club, my friend. Yep, back to Rashford and why I feel the contract was one merely, I think, for Manchester United to say, look, we knew about the PSG talk. We knew that there was communications. We knew that something was going on. But we also needed to safeguard our investment. We needed to safeguard our asset, which was Marcus Rashford. You look at it and you go, well, if they want to come in now and bid for Marcus Rashford, then you've got to be looking at, with that contract that he's got, there's only one club. What I'm trying to say is I think United, when you look at it properly, I think they safeguarded themselves and manufactured this new contract for Marcus Rashford just so someone like PSG would come in for him. I think they've looked at, I'm guessing here, but I'm guessing this is how a big club should run. Marcus Rashford, Manchester United situation, they'd have known PSG was talking. They'd have also known that Kylian Mbappe was disputing his contract at the time, which it was. That's gone and escalated even more now. So United have positioned themselves where Rashford is set, big contract, big wages. Kylian Mbappe is going to leave PSG. Now, they can easily bring Rashford in for the same wages as what he's being paid now and save themselves an absolute fortune on what Kylian Mbappe was being paid. But Manchester United now are like, well, there's only one team, really, that Marcus Rashford is ever going to go to. Real Madrid, there's not a chance in hell. He won't fit in at Barcelona. They can't afford him anyway. And with Kylian Mbappe leaving, I think United have just positioned themselves where it's ready-made for PSG to come in. And if they want to come in, they're going to say that we don't want to sell Marcus Rashford. They're going to say that we're not looking to sell our best players or even give a bit of a boost to a rival. But what you've also got to look at there is that if you want to test the water, then there are the terms, there are the conditions, and go for it. Give us that bid that's going to make us move. Give us that bid that we can't say no to. Just dangle the carrot. Get that hook out and let's see if PSG bites. Because if they do go all in for Rashford and give us the bid that we want, I don't think there's many United fans that would say, I'm too worried, too concerned, we're going to struggle to replace Rashford. I think we've already got adequate replacements in the team coming through, as in Garnacho. Obviously, he's got to do a lot more yet, Garnacho. But what it does give us is that room to go out and buy that ready-made forward, someone who's going to work, someone who's going to work for the team, someone who's going to do that a little bit more. That's going to work into how Ten Hag wants to play. So I think when you look at it, I think it was a deliberate ploy from Manchester United to actually set this up for Marcus, knowing that there was going to be a big gun coming in for him, which was PSG. And I think that is what you have to look at in this. You have to look at it and go, well, yes, it's a big contract. It's going to take a lot to take him out. The club are going to say, we don't want to sell our best assets, one of our best players, one of our leading goal scorers. But if that bid came in, then we are not going to say no. If you come in with 70, 80 million for Marcus Rashford, I'm sorry, he has to be out the door. You can't turn that type of money down for a player who I think has already peaked. I don't think Rashford's going to get any better than what he is. Now, you look at other teams and other big clubs in the world when they are looking at this. Real Madrid, a prime example of this, of knowing when a player is coming to the end of his time, let's say, or end of his time at the club with the way that the club's go in their direction. Does he fit in anymore with the plan and the process and everything that's going on? So looking at that, I would say Marcus Rashford definitely right now, if we had an adequate replacement lined up, I don't think anyone's really bothered. I don't think it's going to hamper us. I don't think it's going to make us any worse than what we are. And I feel like going forward, we are in the perfect position to negotiate the best price for him. And then it's up to Marcus Rashford. If he wants to say, I don't want to go, then United can turn around and say to him, well, you're not going to be first team player. What do you want to do? You have to be, you have to up your game. You have to completely change the way you are, and you have to completely change your focus and your style of play. You have to move in line with everybody else. You're not the superstar of the team anymore. You're going to be on the bench. You're going to be a squad player. You're going to come in and earn your place like everyone else. We're going to bring other people in now. It's a new era under Ineos. So you look at it and you go, okay, if you don't want to stay Rashford, United have got that behind them and say, look, we've got a bid here. PSG want to take you. What do you want to do? You're on the same wages. You can go there or you can stay here, but you are going to be a squad player. I think Manchester United, with Ten Hag staying, which I think is what's going to happen, you're going to sell Greenwood, you're going to sell Jadon Sancho, and Rashford, we don't really need to sell. United are in a pretty good situation right now with Rashford. It's like we've got two players there that we can get rid of anyway. And if you want to be part of the team, you fall in line with everybody else and you just improve your game. Simple as. What do you want to do? I think that ultimately will push Marcus Rashford away from the football club and he'll take on the new challenge. I think that's what will happen. And if he does, see you later. No real concern. Not really bothered. And United move on from there. Let's get into a couple of your comments while we're at it. I've got your comments up on screen here, guys. So get all your questions in. Newbies says 100 million and Rashford is yours. Move Garnacho to the left and sign Edin the Grover. Don't sign Elise. He is going to be the next Sancho. Watch his game. His take on players' rates is bang average. I disagree with that. I think Elise is a completely different animal altogether. Graham says, my time was 70s, 50% were not, not readers, not good reading, Observer, Time, Telegraph. Graham's slagging off the papers. I'm just reading them, Graham. That's all. It's not about putting a vote out about what the best paper was, or what's changed and who's worse than who. But Graham is on his way to Luton today, God help him. God help him. Make sure you do give the video a like, guys, by the way, and hit that subscribe button if you are tuning in for the first time. I am going through all of the papers this morning. I've looked at all the headlines. There is pretty much dominant Manchester United, obviously because we're playing Luton. We will be back on the channel later on, guys, 2 o'clock for the warm-up show. Make sure you tune into that one. And have you noticed I was doing this show on top of the league before? The situation there right now is just so everybody knows and understands. There's no real issue between me, Craig, or Ben, or anything like that. We just got that busy with our own channels, Anfield Agenda and FUTV, and trying to mix in everything and what's going on. It was just a sensible option to just move away from top of the league for the time being, just to concentrate on FUTV, Anfield Agenda, try and do little bits in between. Craig's still doing top of the league as well, but it was all amicable. There's no fallout or anything like that. I just wanted to make sure everyone was up to date with everything that was going on. Everyone is still friends. It's just we're that busy with FUTV. It just made sense just to push forward and give this absolutely everything we possibly can, because lots and lots of opportunities are opening up right now, and it's just gone very, very quickly. So I just wanted to get that out so everyone knew where we was at with everything. So don't worry, everyone is happy. We're not them types of people anyway. There's no big major fallouts. Morning, Adam. How about a poll on Rashford? Do we need to do a poll on Rashford? I don't think we do we? Honestly, I think we've talked about Rashford enough. I don't want to overkill it. Rashford's situation and what's happening now, I think was just relevant to the show today, because I feel like Manchester United are moving past Rashford now. I do. I think he'll still play a part this season. I think he could score a goal today. But I do think that Marcus Rashford now I think he's yesterday's news. I do. And I think Manchester United are in a comfortable position. If he wants to stay and graft it out, I don't think anyone's going to be too concerned. I don't want him to, but I'm not going to lose sleep if he does stay. I just think we can improve around him anyway, but I don't think he's first team. I really don't. I think if he wants to be first team, he can do, and he's going to have to prove that to everybody. Us, the fans, Erik ten Hag, the manager, and everyone at the football club like Ineos now. It's a different era, and this is probably why I'm a little bit more comfortable with the Rashford situation, knowing that it's Ineos that are dealing with it and not the old regime at Manchester United, because you know which way it would have gone. United would have just done everything they possibly could to keep him and keep him happy, whereas right now we know what Ten Hag's like. We know he's already been miffed off by Rashford several times, and it's one more strike and you're out, I think, for Marcus Rashford with Ten Hag. He's going to get the Jadon Sancho treatment. It's all right owning up to it, but if you keep making the same mistake having owned up to it, it doesn't make it any better. It just puts the thought into the manager's head as to, look, this guy just isn't listening. I do think at the back of his mind right now, Ten Hag is thinking, there is life past Marcus Rashford. There is life past it. So, super chat in from Block N2410. Super chat from you. Thank you, my man. I met you outside Old Trafford, didn't we? It was the West Ham game. We had a little chat outside. Need a poll on best newspaper. Nice kitchen. Thanks, mate. Kaz will be happy with that one. But best newspaper. Oh, Graham's going to be all over that. YouTube don't do a poll big enough. They only give you 4 options. You can't do any more. So I would say no. We're not going to be able to do that. But guys, you let me know in the chat. Drop your comments in. Let me know if you think what you think the best newspaper is. Because in the same paper today, Ten Hag himself has been talking. I'm just going to read the top of the headline in the back of the Mirror, which says, Erik ten Hag believes financial fair play concerns cost Manchester United a title tilt this season. Ten Hag insists he was prevented from building on last year's third place finish by budget restrictions caused by United's need to balance the books. The Dutchman was desperate for the Reds to splash 100 million on England striker Harry Kane. Instead, they spent 72 million on a 21-year-old Rasmus Højlund and another 102 million on Mason Mount and keeper Andre Onana. And Ten Hag admitted, when we were in the summer, I think we had good momentum. Good momentum. The story goes on, but you can understand where we're going with that one. Good momentum in the summer? What? No. We had a good season last season. Everyone was happy with Ten Hag's first season. We couldn't really we couldn't really ask for much more, could we? It was third place trophy, first trophy in 5 years, and it was just what was expected, really. I don't think anyone thought we could have got any better than that. And moving across to the summer, everyone was, like Ten Hag was saying there, expecting a bit of an improvement. More investment, more players coming in, a better squad to pick from for the manager. But at the end of the day, Ten Hag did spend money in the summer. If he was desperate to bring Harry Kane in and not Rasmus Højlund, and you look at it this way, so Harry Kane was 100 million. I think the issue wasn't so much financial fair play, it was more Daniel Levy not wanting to sell to one of his rivals. If you look at the situation, so you had Harry Kane. So what did Manchester United spend? So we spent 72 million on Rasmus Højlund with everything added in. I think it's going to be ending up being that because he is actually proving worth now. Rasmus Højlund, 52 on Mason Mount, and what was it, 46, 50 on Andre Onana. You could have bought Rasmus Højlund and Harry Kane for the same amount of money. 2 strikers. Mason Mount's not doing anything. Kobbie Mainoo's come through. So you didn't need to buy Mason Mount. You didn't need to buy Andre Onana. Even if you just spent that small amount of money on Bayindir, you're still spending the same amount of money. So why is Ten Hag not told Manchester United there's a priority here? I think we'll be able to get through with what we've got and not change the goalkeeper. You could have kept De Gea for a little bit longer, possibly. That was up for debate. I didn't want that to happen, so it looks like a bit of a contradiction from me saying that right now. But my point on that is, you still could have bought a goalkeeper for less money like we did Bayindir. I think he's more than adequate right now as we rebuild. And by the way, Bayindir, according to the papers and the headlines again now, he's top target for Galatasaray now in the summer. So we may not even see Bayindir for much longer. If they come in with a bid, who's say United won't take that money right now? Because all of the business that was done was prior to Ineos coming through. So it doesn't matter when the players were bought, who was bought for how much with Ineos. They're just going to look at it and go, we're getting rid. But like I said, there you could have bought Harry Kane and Rasmus Højlund in the summer. But for Ten Hag to be bemoaning financial fair play as the reason why, I think it's a bit rich. I don't agree with it at all. Title tilt, I don't think anyone was expecting us to win the league this year. Maybe be a bit closer. Maybe actually be in the position that maybe Arsenal's in now, actually fighting amongst it. I don't know. But you've got to look at it. We were quite far off for third place. It wasn't like we was close. I think it was still about 10 points away from second place Arsenal. If we'd have closed that gap to within about 4 or 5 points, then you could have said, look, we are moving forward. At the end of the day, United have still got the opportunity to put more points on the board than we did last season. And it's going to be difficult with the games that we've got, I know, and it's a bit of a far-fetched one. You wouldn't expect it, but still, financial fair play is there for everybody. I think Ten Hag moaning about it. We could have bought certain players. We didn't have to buy certain players. I think the selection of signings that came into Manchester United in the summer is where the problem is. Not so much what financial fair play restricted us from doing. I don't think that was the problem at all. I just think that Ten Hag is making an excuse, and I think he can get away with it right now. I think he can get away with it because we're on a bit of a good run. Another win today puts us in a very comfortable position. So, yeah, I just feel like we're in a good mood. We're in a good sort of vein of form right now. Everyone knows that United have started to up performances a little bit, but still, there's a long way to go this season. I don't think you should be bringing up financial fair play. I know certain questions are asked in interviews and you have to answer them, but I just think, just say, look, we just didn't perform to our capabilities. It's as simple as that. We just weren't good enough. And now we're trying to come back a little bit. We are on the chase back. Ten Hag has said, look, there's a lot of work to do. And the Manchester United right now are playing catch-up. That's more stories in the papers today. You only have to flick through a couple of pages in and it's Ten Hag talking about playing catch-up and Manchester United and what's needed to actually get into that top 4 top 5 is more importantly. And yeah, like Ten Hag starting to turn United's juggernaut, but starting to turn United into a juggernaut, but they're saying still playing catch-up in Champions League race. That's another headline in the Mirror there this morning. I think we can do it. I think the way that Spurs are sort of shaping now, we're having a Spursy moment, and I think just with the players that are back, barring any more injuries, I think we should be fine. I think we should be all right. I do believe we can give City a game. Just watching them against Chelsea yesterday, they're not the same team. They're not the same team. If you can nullify Kevin De Bruyne, it's easier said than done, yes, but hey, look, if you take that one man out of that City side, then they're a different animal altogether. I don't think they are anywhere near as good. And I think we have got the capabilities and the personnel to do that. We just have to be a bit more clever with how we approach that game against City in a couple of weeks. And definitely don't go into the game like we did the way we went into it last season, which was just, we can compete with City, we can beat them, and we just got taken to the cleaners very quickly and the game was done and dusted. If that happened this season, then like what's being talked about here, falling behind, I think that would be the worst case scenario for United, to get absolutely smashed by City after a decent run of form. It just brings everything straight back down. Everyone straight back down to earth again, but with a big bang, and it was just like a big reality check. If we can actually put on a decent performance against City and actually get something out of it, then this playing catch-up, like the papers are talking about this morning, I think it's more than catch-up. I think United right now, in some people's eyes, are actually favourite for 4th, just with the momentum that we're building. So a win today, it'll be very interesting to see who's favourite for the top 4, because I think United will move straight up there in the odds. I'll check that out later before we do the warm-up show. But make sure you're with us for that one, 2 o'clock, guys. But yeah, I'll check on the odds and that and see where everything is in terms of title chances and odds and things like that, and top 4 fights. But I think if United do get the win today, then I think that all changes with everybody. I'm going to get into the chat now as well, just to see where you guys are at. I have a question. Has financial fair play been replaced by profit and sustainability rules? Financial fair play counts for teams competing in Europe, Graham, pretty much. Profit and sustainability rules, PSR, is the Premier League's rules. So what the Premier League are doing, they're looking to change the PSR to the same format as financial fair play, which is the squad valuation rule, as in, I think it's 70% of, so your squad, including transfer fees, wages, agents' fees, can add up to 70% of the revenues of the football club. Otherwise, you fall short of the rules and you will be punished for it. Manchester United right now are sitting at 69%. I think it's actually 80%, but then it comes down. So it gives teams a grace period. This is the new rules and what's being talked about, by the way. There's a grace period, so you get to, I think it's 80%, but in 2025, that comes down to 70%. United right now, we're actually in a good spot. So if you sell some of these big players, if you sell some of the likes of Jadon Sancho, if Rafael Varane's wages are gone, Greenwood, if he goes, you can see why Manchester United are in a very comfortable position. And I've had people message me on here saying, you're talking absolute garbage that United can spend this amount of money. Manchester United can spend, if we sell, for instance, Donny van der Beek and Mason Greenwood in the summer, which is highly likely, United can spend 400 million this summer. They could buy the equivalent of £400 million players for £200,000 a week wages, and that fits in with financial fair play as it is now. And that's not with these changes coming in, because it's a roll on year financial figures. So the previous 3 years, Manchester United now, so basically the last 3 years, all of COVID and everything is now being rolled over. We're on to the next financial year. So past July 1st this year, everyone has to have handed in their financial records. Everyone has to have handed in all of their figures. And then it's all broken down. See who's met the rules, see who's not, see who's gone over. Punishments come in, as we know. And then you move forward from there, and then you just start spending again and try and balance your books. And teams are sort of given a chance in January to sort of balance this out, like United did this January, just to make sure that you're safe for the 1st of July coming, if that makes sense. So we've done it, we're in line, we're in perfect. And I've looked at this just through all of the financial figures, spoken and read through all of the financial experts, breaking down United's PSR and financial fair play and where we're at, squad valuations. If United sell the likes of just Greenwood and Donny van de Beek this summer, then there will be funding there, just in the situation we're in right now, to spend upwards of 350 million. We're not going to do that. I don't think we will, unless Ineos really want to get giddy with it, and actually put United back on the map. I think United will be 200 million or something like that in the summer. That's my prediction. I think that's where we're going to be in terms of what we've spent, and I don't think we really need to spend much more than that. As long as we spend it right and we're buying the right type of players, I think we can get 4 or 5 players for that. I think we can shift out a lot of players as well. And I think Manchester United should be looking at this and going, if we can move Greenwood, Donny, Sancho, players like this, possibly Rashfords, the wages of Varane are going to change no matter what. They're going to come down. Then we're in a very, very comfortable position going into the summer. The investment from Ineos, on top of all of this, you'd expect Manchester United to be ahead of everyone else in the transfer window, because we probably need a few more than the teams above us. City are in a similar situation where they can spend a lot because their revenues are such, and they're not really concerned with the wages and the player valuations because they haven't really spent over the top. I think the worst signing they've made is Jack Grealish for 100 million. But in that situation, I think City probably need 2 or 3 players. United, 5 or 6, I would say. I don't think we're going to get them all in one summer, though. If you were offering me 6 players this summer, good, or 3 outstanding players that are going to improve the first team, I'd take the 3. I don't want squad players. I think we've got some seriously good talent coming through, which brings me to the next story in the papers, actually. Raphael Varane bigging up Kambawala. He reckons he could be the next big thing. We've got 100 likes in the bag as well, guys. Please keep liking the video. Thank you so much. I know it's an early show. We've just got to get used to this time, guys. A few people still not woken up yet, obviously. But hey, it's the morning. We can only do a paper round in the morning, can't we? It doesn't fit in the afternoon at all, does it? It doesn't. And they're getting to the chat as well now, just before we get on to Kambawala. Paper Talk, such a good idea for Sunday mornings. Since MUTV started, I've stopped watching the insult, the veterans, the viewers channel. You mean FUTV, not MUTV, Red Zone. Thank you. You are a much better presenter, Adam. Thank you very much for that. But it is FUTV, not MUTV. Easy mistake. It's okay. Ed Barrett, Erik ten Hag answers the questions as they are asked. The footage of both the questions and the answers are available, but frequently it seems that content creators ignore the relevance to the sensationalist BS. No, I'm not. I did just say in this video, you may have to go back, Ed. Sorry, mate. I'm going to have to pull you on this one. I did say, look, he's only answering what was asked. But for him to use it as an excuse, that's still coming out of Ten Hag's mouth. He still said that we were in a good place. We wanted to buy certain players. We couldn't because of financial fair play. He said it in a press conference already only a few weeks ago after the January transfer window shut. So it isn't a case of sensationalising this. Ten Hag has actually said this, so that's why we're talking about it. It's in the Sunday papers, hence the paper round, bud, and why we're talking about it. I understand what you're saying totally. It is true. You just don't get that on this channel. You just get me saying it as it is. I know what's been said. I watch all of the press conferences. I listen and I read everything. I try and do my research for all of the financial stuff, just so when people come back and leave comments saying I'm talking absolute crap, it's not true. This is everything we're talking about possibility-wise is there for United this summer. It is. Red Zone says, Adam, what happens if we get injuries to key players before the end of the season and we are finally spread with quality players to push for the top 4? Yeah, it's a worry, and I'm trying not to think about it, is what I'm saying, Red Zone. Because, like you, I'm like thinking, who comes in? Camberwalla, we're talking about right now, Varane talking him up, saying he's going to be the next player to break through. I do believe there's a chance. But like I was saying the other day on the show, I mean, Manchester United with a situation with Nice and Sir Jim Radcliffe now in Ineos, we can just take players from from Nice if we want. Sir Jim Radcliffe can pull rank and say, I want to loan this player to Manchester United. And Mr Tadibo, for instance, can come in. Maybe Camberwalla goes the other way as a make weight, learns his trade over there in first team football and League One. The possibilities are endless, and this isn't just Sir Jim Radcliffe coming in and spieling. I like to look at everything that's going on right now, and no matter which way you look at it, and like I said in the video when I was talking about this Nice and these players sharing the role of a director or someone in that position to balance both squads and player. What was the word we use now in terms of that role? So they want to employ someone in a role which is it's a maintenance of the playing staff for both Nice and Manchester United. So under the same umbrella, obviously United can look across to Nice and certain players, and you can monitor both clubs and look at it and go, well, if we want, we can take a player from Nice and vice versa. We could be loaning players out instead of willy-nilly here and there and everywhere. Loading players out to Nice who are they're fighting for the Champions League. If they can maintain that, and we have got two top teams in two of the bigger divisions, obviously League One, I don't rate that highly. I think it's about fifth in terms of leagues in Europe. But still, when you're competing against the likes of PSG, Man City, good teams, and we're loaning our players out there, I think we can utilise that. And I think it's not just all of the money that Jim's bringing in, the new stadium, infrastructure, investment into the current playing squad and all of this, new structure. The structure includes being able to utilise what Ineos actually have in their power already, which is control of Nice and their players as well. The Premier League voted for clubs being able to use sister clubs in loans and transfers. They had the chance to throw this out, but they didn't. So this is something that United can do now. Another opportunity has opened up for us. So if Nice has got a quality player there, and Sir Jim Radcliffe thinks he can make the step up, which it is, I'm not disrespecting Liga, and it is a step up, we can use that. Camberwalla, like Varane saying here, be the next player to come through. That could be for Nice. That could be in the first team, like what Red Zone's saying there, the fear of first team players dropping out. He could be the player to come through. I'd take that moment. I don't want it to be, because that means that we have got injured players, and I'd rather have the first team players available from now until the end of the season. We haven't got many games to go. After today, it's 13 games to go this season, and then the FA Cup on top of that. So I do feel like we need players just to see out this next 3 months and then look at everything again in the summer. But Camberwalla, I thought, did himself proud in that West Ham game. Was unlucky, and I think he is one for the future. I do agree with Varane on that one. I think he has got possibilities. I think he does need a loan, though. I don't think throwing him right in now, I don't see him as that Kobbie Mainoo hitting the ground running straight in the first team player. I think he just needs game time, proper first team game time, and I think he will really benefit from a loan period. And you know what? I think you heard it here first, but don't look past Tadibo coming and Camberwalla going the other way. Don't look past it. I just see United doing things like this and moving forward. Anyway, coming up to the back end of the show, it's time to start having a laugh, isn't it? And City are all over the back pages. I'm going to use this show as just my opportunity to also talk about everything else that's going on. Calvin Phillips gets sent off. Pep's being a bit salty. Erling Haaland's pushing away cameras because he's not got his goal. City are not the force they was last season. You cannot go from that high and higher. It's impossible. I put a poll in the chat last night in the show. The lesser of the evils, let's put it. Dealing with Arsenal fans and then winning the title. Liverpool equaling our 20 titles. Or City being the first team to win 4 in a row in the Premier League. What would you rather have? What is the lesser? Everyone pretty much went in on the Arsenal look. I think it is right. I don't think anyone really needs to look past that. No one wants Liverpool to get 20 titles. Honestly, I would take Liverpool's 20 titles now over City getting that 4 in a row. I just can't handle City players, City fans at the moment. But just to see it there, it's the headline being Pep's stir fry, as in Raheem Sterling. City boss burnt by old boy as Rodri rescues a point. City are not hitting the target, are they? They're not. In terms of this title race right now, you look at Jota, big miss. And we'll find out what happens with Liverpool there. But Arsenal smashing Burnley 5-0. Liverpool smashing Brentford 4-1. And then City again struggling against Chelsea. I mean, struggling. They struggled at Stamford Bridge. They've shipped 5 goals against Chelsea in 2 games in the league this season and took 2 points off them. So with all of the struggles that Chelsea have got going on, you know that they're still going to have a say in this title race when they play the big teams. Apart from when they turn up to Anfield, that is, and just completely capitulate. But Raheem Sterling put a dent in Manchester City's title ambitions, but Chelsea left the Etihad believing they should have won. I think most people feel that. I think most people think that City were just crap yesterday. They were completely off it. I'm really happy that obviously City is struggling. But in fairness, for us as United fans yesterday, I think that point has actually done us good. I mean, can you imagine that high that Chelsea would have got on that? And they would have been closing in on us. I'd rather be looking ahead at Spurs and Villa, but you can't ignore with the quality of squad that Chelsea have got, that we have to sort of look over our shoulders a bit. And it just keeps them at arm's distance. So a win for United today just moves us away further into the distance from Chelsea. And I think that is all good. And I think just keeping them away from us and not letting them build any momentum was important. And as good as Chelsea were, you still look at that result as a positive. I think for United fans, it's a double positive and the start of a very good weekend, hopefully. Going into this afternoon anyway, I hope it is. But yeah, looking through all of the other headlines, Rodri Raw proving again that Pep City could never go quietly. And some of the journalists, some of the writers, honestly, when there's plenty of things I could say, but it's early morning and I don't want to ruin everyone's breakfast by started swearing with the bleacheries on the show live. But like some of these journalists and how they write about Manchester City, it's like, seriously, get me a sick bucket. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. No, they've equalised against Chelsea. They won't go quietly. You might as well start quoting Bleeding Independence Day. We will not go quietly into the night. What a load of crap. Shut up. I mean, seriously, they're not as good this season. And they're a horrible team to watch. Does anyone watch Man City and actually get excited? They're boring, they're dull, and let's be honest, when you break it all down, they're cheating bar stewards, aren't they? That's what they are. And everything that they do and everything that they win will always be tainted by the 115, the 115 charges of breaches of financial fair play. Because let's be honest, City cooked the books. Everton and Forest just fell short of the rules and got punished. The only reason City haven't been brought to justice yet is because they're denying it. They're pleading not guilty. Forest and Everton pleaded guilty, dealt with, being processed. City, no, we're Manchester City. You can't touch us. We've invested so much in the community. How dare you actually touch us? Look at the amount of money and stuff we brought. But you cheated. It's as simple as that. Shut up and just take your punishment. Your day of reckoning will come. It won't be while Pep Guardiola's in charge, though. He'd have moved on to his next easy project and gone in a totally different direction. I don't think many of the players that are playing this season for City will probably be here by the time they get punished either. And they'll be like, well, all I did was just play the game and we won and I've got my medal. It's nothing to do with me about what happens above, which is true, but still, I wouldn't like to be a player all my career and people looking back going, oh, you were part of that. You were part of that cheating 115 charges City squad, weren't you? That's how it will be looked back on. It will. City fans are just ignoring it, trying to ignore it, thinking that we're the mighty City, that you can't touch us. No, I'm sorry. And the journalists sometimes they're embarrassing. They really are. I mean, I just wanted to bring up the table actually and just talk about the table right now and where everything is. So you're looking at 57 points for Liverpool. I think 57 points for Liverpool, 55 for Arsenal and 53 for City. City's game in hand is irrelevant now. They're still not going to be able to take Arsenal or Liverpool with that. And then you've got that big game at Anfield between City and obviously Liverpool coming up. I think I think that will decide it. I do. I still think Liverpool, now that they are past Arsenal and that double header, Arsenal can beat anyone. The way that they're playing at the moment, you have to give the Gunners a bit of credit actually, because they are playing the best football right now, I think, out of the top four. Definitely. I think the 6-0, the 5-0, the criticism that they had this season earlier on was that they don't score goals. So I think that they are the better team now. I'll get into the rest of the table in a second, but I just wanted to bring up your comments now. Please give the video a like, says General Fooder. Yes, please, guys. Just creeping up to the 150 mark. We want to build this show up. Obviously, it's a new show, guys, and not everybody is aware of it yet, but once it goes out, hopefully we'll start building the audience up and we'll start making more of it. Maybe even get guests on at time to time as well. Kaz says she wants to be up here doing the morning show as well. I don't know why she's nodding her head. She's in the background, by the way, everyone. Luton Stadium looks horrible, says Dobby. I won't even call it a stadium, mate. I call it a ground. There'll be one goal in it, says Graham. Graham's dropping the negatives again. Graham, you're going to the game, mate. You should be upbeat. Come on, man. Michael Bethwaite says, even though the game on Sky Sports, why you doing a watch along? Why am I doing watch along? Well, I'm not, Michael. Where have you got that from? I was asking you today, where do we get should we do the watch along? I've got something planned for the watch along in the future, but it's not on this platform. It's something else, something different, where we can all watch the game together. But yeah, no watch along today. It's just full on reaction show, guys. So we're going to be doing the build up at 2 o'clock, the warm up show. Then we're going to be doing my match reaction straight after the player ratings. And then we're going to be doing a later night one at 8 o'clock tonight with Jay. We're going to break it down, do everything, have a proper debate show on everything after the dust has settled. So full day's entertainment from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. tonight, guys. It is full on all the way through content on FUTV. But there is no watch along today, guys. Anthony Wisdom, welcome to the Members Club. Absolute legend of a man. Thank you for joining the team and the army, which is Forever United TV. Don't forget, guys, please drop down in the description and hook up with our sponsors and our partners, SofaScore, as well, for all of your score updates, fast acting, updated injury news, team news, breaking news, everything you need to know about your team, player ratings, player profiles, all of the sports as well, all on one app. Drop in the description, click on the link, SofaScore, it's right there at the top, and you won't be disappointed. It's free, it helps the channel, and it is the best sports app out there right now. Rated in the top 20 on the App Store as well, guys. So please do go and give that a download. It is the best that there is. Luton loves scoring goals at home, says UK Strains. Yes, they do. I was a Chelsea fan last night, says Colin Brooks. I bet you was. And do you know what? I was a Chelsea fan last night as well. I was loving that. I love what Chelsea do to City. They always seem to have that little bit of a voodoo on them, don't they? Back into the table. So we went over the top four. Villa, big win for them yesterday at Fulham, scraping past I wouldn't say resurgent. I don't know where Fulham are at the moment. They're sort of just stuck in the comfort zone, I think, Fulham. And you never know what you're going to get with them. So I just feel like Aston Villa needed a win, and they got the win. It was important that they did. Into fourth now, ahead of Spurs, who obviously lost yesterday. So it's opened it up again for Manchester United. I think it's a perfect opportunity today for us. We'll talk more about the game and everything about it in the build-up show, the warm-up show later on. So yeah, Villa in 4th and Tottenham in 5th, United in 6th there. Now we close in to within, what will it be? It will be 3 points to Spurs with a win today. So that's massive. And then Newcastle again dropping points. We can be clear, 8 clear of Newcastle, which is massively important. And then well clear of Brighton and Chelsea also. This is big for United because I think if a win today, looking at the table now, it pretty much just puts everything, it splits everyone up. It makes it a 3-horse race for the Champions League places between United, Spurs and Villa. It's a 3-horse race for the title. The top 6 are clear if United win today. And I think that's important that we're looking at just them and no one else. And I think the wins are the ones that, I think the wins for United now, going forward, just as important as it is closing the gap on Spurs and Villa, I think just building that gap with the teams below us as well, that is also just as important. But yeah, guys, that pretty much sums up the first FUTV Paper Round show. Thank you so much for tuning in. All that's left for me to say is thank you again. Please give the video a like. Please give us a subscribe on Forever United TV if you haven't already. That is all important. We're building up to the 40,000. We are on the way, well on the way. Thanks for tuning into all of the videos over the last few days as well. The Old Trafford ones, part 2 of the Old Trafford one is up now. So make sure you go and give that a follow as well, guys. But yeah, this was Paper Talk. This was a roundup of everything that's going on in the Sunday papers. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We just passed the 150 like mark as well. Really enjoyed that. Hopefully we'll build the audience now going forward every Sunday. And you guys can start getting involved in it as well. But that is it for now, guys. I will see you at 2 o'clock. Don't miss it. It's the warm-up show, looking ahead to the game. And, well, I think we'll probably get a little bit nervous by the time that comes. But, hey, I'll see you there, guys. Have a good one. And, yeah, enjoy your Sunday.